Hey, hello, everybody. What's up? Come on into the room. We are about to have a wonderful on fire time on tonight. Listen, I want to welcome you to the Triumphant Show with Sherida Lovelace. I am your host, Sherida Lovelace. We have an awesome show on tonight. I'm super excited for what God is going to do. If you are catching this broadcast live, welcome. If you are catching it on a replay from wherever you are at, or if you are catching it even in the nations, we want to welcome you into this atmosphere. We want to welcome you into the fire, the power, the authority, the glory of the Holy Spirit, where He speaks and we move. Hallelujah. So I'm excited about who God is. This is the place where victory truly repeats itself. And I'm just excited to be a part of this night on tonight with you. I'm glad that you have taken out the time to join us, because truly there is something to be said on tonight. So we're glad that you are slowly coming on into this broadcast. We have a lot that the Lord wants to share with our guests, but before we get into anything with the our interview, our connection, I'll go into that in just a moment. I want to just again welcome you and just remind you that we are based on 2 Corinthians 2:14. I love that scripture, and every time I seem to read it, I seem to get something else from it, something different, something that I had not seen before. But the scripture says, "But thanks be unto God, who always leads us in triumph in Christ, and manifests through us the sweet aroma of the knowledge of Him in every place." And I love that so much, because it just tells us that when we go and we carry the power and the fire of the Holy Spirit, there He is as well. He is with us, and it's just super exciting. The fact that God is with us, we just carry the fragrance, we just keep going, and that's just what He does. So glory be to God. Listen, I want to make sure, if you have not already, that you know that to follow me here on Facebook at Sherida Lovelace and Sherida Lovelace Ministries. I also, listen, every now and then I'll shoot out a little Twitter. Go ahead and follow me at Sherida Lovelace on Twitter. Of course, we share and advertise the show, but every now and then when the Lord lays upon my heart a message or a word, I just like to shoot it there. You know, you can't say too much on Twitter. They only give you a couple lines. So you just got to say what you say and be done with it. And I also want you to make sure you subscribe tonight to my YouTube channel. We are journeying, we are building, it is still growing. Go ahead and subscribe on tonight, S. Lovelace TV, and be a part of the building and the growing. Those of you that are watching or catching the replay on the YouTube channel, welcome to the Triumphant Show on tonight. If you are catching the replay, if we have never met you before and you are watching through YouTube, we want to welcome you in this night, in this atmosphere, and to our show on tonight. Listen, you can also follow me on Instagram at Sherida Lovelace. Guess what? I made it so simple for you. You just follow my name and it'll come up. So easy, you know? And also, to be a guest, just make sure you send me an email at SheridaLovelace@gmail.com to be a guest. Real super easy. Basically, you know, you may have a story. You may have something you want to share. You may just want to come on and share the platform, and we just go in triumphantly together. Shoot me an email and let's do this. The calendar is filling up for 2021. Glory be to God. But there is still room for you. So if you want to be a guest on this platform, please send me an email at SheridaLovelace@gmail.com. So listen, without further delay, I want to go into how I'm just excited that my guest is here tonight. A friend, a brother, always ready, always on fire, always on time. What else can I say about always? Just a super man of God. And, even when I read through his resume and the things that he's done, all I can say is equip, equip, equip. I mean, he's just a man that just equips the masses through his books, through his sharing, through all that God has called him to. And it is absolutely amazing. And so I want you, Triumphant family, to get prepared to meet him on tonight. And again, if you're catching the replay, to hear my friend Dr. Eric Holmes share with us on tonight. But listen, let me just share with you a few nuggets about this man of God that we have on tonight on the Triumphant Show. He is a senior coordinator in the, and I don't know if I can pronounce this word, but I'm going to try. Otolaryngology. Did I get it, Eric? Did I
Yeah,
get it?
otolaryngology, yeah.
Department. Department at Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore, Maryland. Shout out to Baltimore, Maryland. God bless all of you in Baltimore. While he has been here, Dr. E has won awards after awards after awards. I'm not even going to name them all, family. I'm just going to let you know that he's won awards. He has been Employee of the Year. And one thing is that the Lord wants us to be faithful in everything that he gives us stewardship over, even our jobs. And so, that speaks volumes when you are continually being honored and blessed, despite circumstances, despite trials, and still be honored by your employer. At whatever you do in life. He has a bachelor's and master's degree in biblical studies and theology, a master's and doctorate degree in Christian education. I mean, he's been featured in the Enoch Pratt Library Compass and the Writer's Live, so much more. His books are there. And we're going to talk about a couple of his books tonight because he can write. He's been featured in magazines. He's been featured on other radio platforms, and so much more. So it's an honor to have such a heavy weight on the Triumphant Show on tonight, that's carrying it, walking it out. And one thing I can say, when you put all of the accolades aside, such a nice, humble man of God, that really embraces anybody. And that's what we are about. That's what kingdom is about. That no matter what, you don't have to know me from the beginning to the end, but when you come across somebody and your path, they're just simply nice, it speaks volumes. And then we begin to understand why God continues to enlarge their territory and promote and elevate them. So we can learn a lot from this man of God on tonight. So listen, without further delay, welcome Dr. E to the Triumphant Show.
Welcome, Apostle. I'm excited. We've been talking about this, but God's timing and season is always perfect. But we've been building and building solid relationships. I am humbled. I am honored for any opportunity that we can share about him. First of all, that he gets the glory. And so we can draw people to him, like you said, above all those accolades, knowing that we know him and the personal relationship, because all this other stuff is going to pass away. It's what stands for him. And so I am humbled and honored and just thanking God for this opportunity, space and time that he've allowed from eternity to manifest in the earth realm. And this season, and it's this time that he already knew in eternity that this day would be here. And so I said something earlier about one of my favorite scriptures: just humble yourself under the mighty hand of God. In due season, he will exalt you. And so we got to understand in the timing and season. So I'm just honored. I don't like people to read bio, just say, listen, he loved God. And hey, he's a servant. A servant who said yes, and people get mad sometimes when you don't read their bios.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I've experienced interviewing people and it was like, you missed something.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm just humble.
Yeah, and I appreciate that so much. And family, just keep your arms open for this man of God. Listen, make sure you are sharing, following, and liking this broadcast on tonight, because we're going to go a little bit deeper as we get into the night. Listen, Dr. E, share with us a little bit now. Share where you were born and raised, and in the mix of you sharing that, were you always in a place where you understood or had experience of who God was? Let's start with that beginning first.
Born and raised in Harrisburg, PA. Born and raised, school, college, work. My family's still there. My mom and father transitioned, but I still have brothers and sisters born and raised there. And so the thing about it is that learning, we always knew church because that's our culture. So we always had to go. We didn't have options like they have now. You were going, and that was it. We
Wow.
didn't have options, but it wasn't until later that I developed that personal relationship. We can't base it on mom, father, grandfather, whomever, parents, aunts. You have to develop that personal relationship. And so it wasn't until years later to really develop the personal relationship, knew him, but then I really know him,
Right.
which makes
Right.
a difference. And so now I know him for myself, as they would say. And so, yeah, just
Yeah.
growing the more that I've developed my personal relationship with God, now that I know him more.
Right. Right. That's phenomenal. And so did you in your younger years, I know growing up there were things that I didn't fully understand. And we weren't forced to go to church. It was like we went just because it was just part of the thing to do. Vacation Bible school, Sunday school, Baptist training union. My parents put us in that and we just went. And so we weren't forced to go, but we went because of ease. But in those seasons, there were things that I realize now that I'm older that God was doing with me and showing me. Did you have experiences when you were younger where you saw something about God or learned something about Him, or it may be visions or dreams? I'm a dreamer. And so that was one of the gifts I understood later that God was using for my ministry. Was there something you saw later that you see now that's part of your ministry? I guess is
Yes.
the easiest way.
One being, even now, even as a minister of the gospel,
Yeah.
as an encourager, influencer, as a certified life coach, it was always
Right.
in me because I was doing it all along. And so the more and more you grow and mature, it unfolds even in the purpose. And as my first lady, Dr. Pender, would always say, just do it all, God will show you. Because what's in you, you're already doing it. And so now when I look down, is that I was always, say, in radio and influence and encouraging, and encountering and sharing and helping others to push their vision and their dreams. So that was always there. So now I'm seeing it as it's unfolding more, that I understand my purpose now, because I was able now to define it, understand it, walk in it. So I'm able to fulfill it.
Right, right. So for those that are listening and watching and don't fully understand and grasp all that, what is something you can share with them before we move forward in terms of, if they're an adult now, what about them can they do or look back at and see how it plays a role in their right now walk, whether it's a right now walk with God, a right now walk in corporate America, a right now walk as a teacher? Is there a nugget or two that you can share to bring attention for someone that's listening and watching tonight or on replay that could focus on that can help put a tool in their toolbox?
One, it's your passion of what you have and you love doing. Like, I love to encourage people. I love to
Yeah.
influence people. I love to push people. I love to help bring the best out of people. Always knew how to network. I always knew
Right.
how to bring people together, even when in the world I threw the baddest parties you could name. And even now on this side, I was already building network. I was already being able to tap into network marketing. And
Right.
so now when I would say to anybody that what's in you is already there. It's just going to come out of you. The more and more you grow, the more and more you mature, or even have somebody pull what's in you out of you. And so you're already doing what you've been called to do. You just got to be able to tap into it. And so for a lot of people, you just got to tap into that inner part. But most of all, it's your passion of what you love doing. Like I was sharing with my big brother Reggie, I won a dinner on his show Saturday. For his cooking show he does, but that's
Mm-hmm.
his passion and he loves to do it. I said, now you got to do the food truck. And so encouraging and pushing, because it's already there. So what is
Right.
it that you love to do? What is something that you're passionate about?
Yes.
And so with that, you tap into that. And now you're able to see, this is what I'm to do. This is my passion. So here I am in my purpose of, because this is something on the inside. Like a buddy of mine,
Yeah.
he wants his passion is to be a DJ. It was on hold. I said, but
Yes.
it's in you. And now it's come back now. And so that's why you're dreaming it. You'll go to bed thinking about it. And what's in you, you're going to dream about it. You're going to think about it. You wake up.
Yeah. You're thinking about it.
Yes.
Right then. That's it.
And other things it may help you, but sometimes you get uncomfortable. Like I was in a position 3 years ago. That wasn't me. It was a career move. I learned a lot, but that just wasn't my passion. My passion is where I am now and in the field of work of helping others in the patient care. But this whole administrative executive side and learning all of that. I learned, but that wasn't my passion because I really wasn't passionate about it.
Right. I love it. And what it's making me think as you're sharing about this and the passion is so true. So true. And those of you that are listening and watching, I'm praying that you're grabbing some nuggets and doing a self audit for yourself so you can really live the fullness of a triumphant life. But I think about some of the men and women, and I'm so glad you're sharing this, who realize their passion. They're on fire for it. They know this is it. But because of man's judgments, man's opinions, man's scrutiny, they shut down or pull back or give less than what God gave them to give. And so many people don't realize that we don't want you to do that. God wants you to flourish. And it even makes me think of your book that I want to get to after you respond to this comment, Seed in the Ground. Because it's part of our passion, and when we take those steps, we're putting seeds down, for that later blossoming. But it makes me think about so many people that shut down and shut back because they're afraid of judgment or what people are going to think, or it looks like them, or whatnot. What's something we can share with them to understand that when you know that you know that you don't look to the left or the right, you just keep going. You keep pressing forward, you keep pushing forward, and at the end, those things that you thought that were really hindering you, they'll just start falling out because you'll be so focused on that end goal. What is your thought about that?
Here's the thing, as my pastor said Sunday, you gotta dream again. But I post something all the time that says, listen, and on my vision board, my goal board, my prayer board, don't let your visions and dreams die, and don't allow others to cause them to die. Here it is. You cannot base on what they're saying, or even as the scripture said, it's better to put your confidence, your trust in God. Don't put your confidence in man. Guess what? If God spoke it, his supersedes all of it, because it doesn't matter if man don't approve. If God approves it, if God says it, it's better to trust and obey God.
Right.
And follow what he has said. And a lot of times we're looking for validation in the wrong places.
Right.
And so here's the thing, Apostle, is that I've got to follow what he's given me, the vision, my purpose. I've got to follow what he has shown me. And so here it is. I can't base it on what you think. Or I use this illustration in the book. It says with the turtle and the rabbit. You've got to stay focused. Stay in your lane. It's not how fast you run. It's that you endure. It's not how you start, but finish. It doesn't matter how long my dream has been taken or my vision. But the mere fact is, I don't let it die. If I got to go back, when God said to me some while ago, he said, go back, revisit the dream. Go back, revisit the promises. They're still good. Here it is. There's no expiration date to what God promised or his word. Go back, revisit. Take another look.
That's it.
Focus. Take a pivotal moment and then move forward. Because the truth of the matter is, it doesn't matter if it still seems like it's been delayed. Because guess what? Here's the other part of that. Things are delayed on purpose, for purpose, but yet still on schedule. And so guess what? You're still on schedule because he's always on time. He's always on schedule. And you might base it. Here's something real powerful and truth. Don't base your success. Don't base where you are on with other people, because you don't know the process, their purpose, You don't know what it took or what they
That's
dealt
it.
with to get where they are. You better base it on what God has said. Because if
Yes.
you go with him, I don't care what comes in the middle, it's going to get fulfilled. If Caleb waited 45 years for a promise and it was
Right.
still good when he got at 85, what
Yeah.
makes you think that ours ain't still going to be good?
That's it. That's it. That's it. And you know what? We can learn from the children of Israel. We can learn from, and this is the season of Passover. So we're looking at a place where, we're talking about bondage. We're talking about the smearing of the blood so that the death angels will pass over. We're talking about getting to the Red Sea and crossing over and all these different things. And sometimes we can delay our own destiny or delay our own freedom of thinking by thinking the things that keep us in bondage, which is what you just said. Things like, I'm comparing myself or validating through other people's opinions and thoughts. And I'm thinking about what they're going to say. And I'm thinking about, well, this looks duplicated. All these things that have nothing to do with the seed that God placed in us to move forward with so that he can birth, so that he can get the glory. And so I love how you're speaking about that. And I'm hoping that someone that's listening and watching on tonight, you just grabbed something real strong and you just got your passion restirred up again so that you can keep going. And again, I love how you talk about the fact that it doesn't matter the length or the time or how long it took you to get there, but just get there. Just get there. Just don't stop. And so you have a book. I want to get to this book because this to me kind of connects. The Power of the Seed. When was that written and what is that book about?
Wow, the power of the seed. And now, see, here's the thing. I wasn't asking to be a writer. I asked God, and I'll tell this in a minute, I'll tie it all in. Asked God for a project after my 5 a.m. prayer to bless me, to be a blessing to ministry, my pastor and first lady, and to kingdom and community. Here's the thing. Then when he said, put it in a book, gave me the whole illustration, the whole name, the power of the seed. And so when I begin to talk about it, guess what? The author was already in me. That passion when I begin to talk about it. And so listen, it just had to be awakened. Something had to
Mm,
just be poured out of me that was already there. So here's the thing,
right.
and I'll get back to that. You
Yeah,
got to
take your
check your
time.
circle and check your team. Who is in my circle and who is on my team? Like Mary
Woo!
and oh my shot, like Mary
Come
and
on.
Elizabeth, who can make the baby leap? Well, something was awakened in me when he told me to
Come
put
on.
it in the book. It was already there, but he
Right.
spoke now that he's pulling it out. And so when we talk about the power of the seed, it was already there. So the seed was planted.
Right.
And now here's the thing. It's got to be watered and nurtured. And so it grows. And when I begin to deal with the power of the seed, and we can tie it all into this whole Passover, Easter, and all of this, because
Yeah.
God is the ultimate seed. Christ is the ultimate seed for us. And
Right.
so here's the thing. It is that when we deal in the natural and spiritual aspect of sowing seed and how powerful the seed is, even from the grain of a mustard seed, how powerful it is. But guess what? I teach a power of the seed masterclass, but it's got to be sown
Mhm.
properly. It's got to make sure it's in good ground. You got to make sure before you go through any seeding, sowing, and
Right.
planting, you got to
Right.
deal with the process and preparation as the
Right.
farmer does from the agriculture, a standpoint and a way of living. Because when I studied Jewish history for my doctoral, when I studied the
Yeah.
laws of the harvest, when I studied seed time and harvest, when I dealt with the rule of reciprocity, there's a process to it for you can even seed, sow, or plant. And so
Yes.
here's the thing. Once you get the ground ready, once you
Yes.
prepare, once you deal with the process, now you can begin
Right.
to seed, sow, or plant. But here's the thing. Most of us miss it because I
That's
love the
right.
analogy of the farmer. God gave me this watching my
Yeah.
retractable banner.
Yes.
And he said, but see, here it is. The farmer sees from the end,
Yeah.
from the beginning, yet he sees the end. But then here's the thing, Apostle. He said, now how? What do I do with the middle process? We get stuck in the middle of the process because
Yeah.
after you process the preparation, the seeding, the sowing, now I got to
Mm.
deal with the middle process, which comes in with the watering, the harvesting, and the nurturing. And so then that the seed can germinate through the underground process and get to the set time and season to produce that which you planted. But guess what? It may not even be the same year.
Look at that. That's it. That's it. And while you're talking, what's coming up in my spirit is distractions. Because unless you understand what let me rephrase this. It is key when you understand that that seed is in you with exactly everything you just said, that the distractions will come. And so many people they'll stay on track, and then a distraction will cross their path, and they'll switch and cross with that distraction, not realizing it, which causes their delay. And so even when there's times when things take them longer to get to, some things could have been minimized, but they didn't understand where that distraction was, and they allowed it to regulate and to rule in their spirit, and to the point they didn't get things done for so long. It was a distraction.
A
The
whole
simplest
distraction.
thing.
And I just
Yeah.
posted that today. I said, in this season, and God gave me that, in this season, don't be distracted. You better make sure you are moving in prayer, moving strategic like a game of chess. You got to move strategic in this season. You got to move in prayer. You got to move in his word. Don't get distracted by what you see in the natural, because the natural will always blind you. You better see it through the eyes of faith and see it through another perspective, because if I look at it through the eyes of faith, it's going to tell me what the natural don't see. That's
Right.
why the children of Israel, they got distracted, because what could have took them less, it took them all them years. But here's the thing, but God is so phenomenal, because he still gave them a backup plan and a promise.
Right. Come on, somebody, right?
And they still wanted to get distracted.
Right.
Then they
That's
wanted to
it.
go back, because now they're facing what the enemy behind and the sea in front of them. Now, where do I go from here? That I'm
Yeah.
facing the enemy behind me, yet I got a sea in front of me. How do I cross it? Where do I go? But isn't just like God. Now he going to give them another whole promise and a word. I'm telling
Yeah.
you, he's amazing.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Because
He's
he's going to
amazing.
fulfill what he said. Because
He's
his
going
word
to
is out.
doesn't return void. He's going to fulfill what he said. I love a couple of things that you said. And you talked about, one, that the distractions will blind you. So true. But even before that, we talked about checking our circles. And I remember praying to the Lord. I said, God, only give me divine connections. Only
Divine.
place me in a divine place that's going to allow you, Lord, to illuminate. And then you use me how you need to be, because I'm surrendered to how you want me to use me. But that circle phrase mentality is so key, because
Oh,
people can be the coolest people, but yet when you start to move in that gifted area, or elevate or shift a little bit, you rock the boat. Now all of a sudden you got some issues, and we have to understand that sometimes God will tell you to change your circle. Been there. What's your take on that?
here's
You
the thing
talked about that, and
that
it
we
was
talked.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so here's the thing. When I say to my team, my LLC,
Yeah.
if they can house the vision at the heart, they'll push the vision. But I always say to
Right.
them, we hold each other accountable. And I have a phrase, I'll see you at the top billionaire status, because the bottom is just too crowded. But they house that. They embrace that. And a lot of times when people, you're allowed to get distracted, because that's why it's got to be, and I just said that today, divine connections, the
Right.
power of collaboration, the power of networking in this season. It's about divine connection. Because see, when it's divine, like me and you, we are divinely connected from
Yeah.
eternity
Yeah.
into now in the manifestation of the timing and season that he've allowed us. And so that's a divine connection. And so
That's
here's the
right.
thing. I can't get that. That's why you gotta stay in prayer. That's why you gotta stay in his word. That's why you gotta understand that when he says some things come by fasting and praying, because every
Right.
opportunity is not an opportunity. Every
That's
door is
right.
not an open door. Because here's the thing: the one of those shows that go door number 1, 2, and 3. If I
Yeah.
base mine on Revelation 3 and 8, now I set before thee an open door. Because you may go to door number 1, 2, or 3. You don't know if there's
Right.
a thump behind it. You don't know what's behind it. But when you follow the door that he set, it's going to be good.
Mhm.
I don't care
Yeah.
if situations or circumstance, because he said it, it's going to make it good. And so a lot of times you got to evaluate. And I use this analogy like a tree. There's a root,
Yeah.
there's a branch, there's a leaf.
Yes.
You got to know the season. You got to know, just like a
Right.
root is grounded, a
That's right.
branch will leave you hanging and a leaf will wither. You got to determine what season, people, places, and things
Whew.
are in your life. Some are
That's right.
seasonal, some may come and go, and then you got a root. That's a lifetime. But you
That's
got
it.
to know what you have.
That's right.
And knowing
That's
that
right.
it's time, because when it's connected, I I preach this message. Stay connected to the vine. You got to stay connected to him. There's a power source, and you got to learn to check the connection. Because if I plug my phone into the socket and there's no connection and there's no power, but if you don't tap into the power source, listen, you don't have power at all.
Yeah, period. That's it right there. And while you were speaking, it made me think about, and for those of you that are listening, watching, or catching the replay, midwives. I just begin to think of midwives because there are some people, woo, Jesus, there are some people that want to push their gifting. They want to birth this. They want to accomplish their destiny. They want to get to a place, and they keep struggling. And sometimes they can hear how to do it and how to move forward all they want, and they can hear the keys, etc. But for something keeps, quote, distracting them or a hindrance. But I also recall in January the Lord speaking to me and saying how the midwives need to really come forth in this season, because last year there was a delay. There was delay in so many birthings. And so 2021, it's an accelerated favor season if you can catch it in the spiritual realm. And some people need a midwife. And I say that to say, those that are listening and watching, and you've made it, or you see people struggling, or you see what's going on, God may have poured in that spirit to help push and birth someone, even somebody you may not like. But push and birth somebody into their place. It's not going to change the light and the value in you. It's not. Talk to us a little bit, Dr. E, about that midwife and pushing one another, as we're talking about the seed and just the birthing forth in the season, those things of that nature.
And so when you talk about the midwife, which was so powerful, so critical, even in the healthcare field, even in the natural as in the spiritual, because it's there to push and to get you to push further, and what's in you got to come out of you. And so you in the natural and in the spiritual have one of those midwives. What's in you, it's got to come out of you. But I just need the help. I need somebody to push. I need somebody to help me go a little bit further. And so you need somebody. Look, when Mary and Elizabeth got together and the baby's in the womb, you have the Messiah and the forerunner. But here it is, that power, that connection, and who can make my baby leave, but who can help push what's in me out of me?
Right.
Who can push me to the next level?
Right.
Who can see beyond my now to help me to get to my, who can see beyond where I am?
Right. Because it's really, and I just hear in my spirit, it's a matter of life and death. If you have a baby, a seed in you ready to birth, and it does not come out, you then begin to bring toxicity into your body naturally and spiritually. So this is a matter of life and death. And I say that if someone is listening and watching, if you need that push and that help, the time is right now, yesterday, the day before, to speak up and to allow someone to help you push that through. This is not, I don't want no one to know, or I have to be, you do have to be careful, but it's not a place where, you're trying to, no, I'm going to be private because I want to make a big announcement. No, you need to push the baby out, because guess what? After this baby, there's some more. There's some more. And I just believe God is doing those things for us. So, when you talk about the book, The Power of the Seed, there's other books that you've written as well. And I just love the empowerment of the books. I love the meat of the books and how it speaks to us. And there's another book, I believe, Cultivate Your Winning Season.
Well, it's actually my next season is due season. Cultivating my winning season. Cultivating my winning season was the article I did in the magazine for Community Magazine, because this is a season that we got to cultivate and we got to win. And so my book is called My Next Season is Due Season. And so here's the thing. When we deal with the season, we got, this is our winning season. This is not a cliche, but if you don't believe it, if you don't have faith enough to know it, it's not going to happen. The scripture, now he's already given us, as my bishop said, a gift called victory. We already have the victory. It's a gift. He's already given us. So I've got to know in my mind, and see, it's a mindset. It's a shifting in the mind. It's a shifting in my faith that no matter what's going on, it's my winning season. I got to cultivate it, but I got to do the work in between. It's my due season. He's given us the words, given us everything we need. And if you don't go after it, if you don't get it, then here it is. It's not going to happen. And so the thing about it is, when we deal with that my next season is due season. So I'm in my season. But guess what? I prepared. I went through the process and preparation, but yet I had to endure one season to get to the next season. I had to endure the night season to get to the morning season. And here's the thing, you cannot skip season. Now, the other day,
Yes.
it was just as nice as it can be the week. Now, the day when I left out, it was just as cold and windy. But here's the thing, we are technically when the 21st come in spring. So now there's a shift in the season, but I
Right.
can't jump to summer. Come on, I got spring in between. We're trying to
Yes.
skip the season. We're trying to skip the process.
Mhm.
And once we try to do, you cannot skip the process. You cannot
Right.
skip the season. And so that book is going to help you to understand the endurance of it all, the process, the preparation of getting from one season to the next. You've got to endure it.
That's right. That's right. Because otherwise you'll become ill-equipped. You'll become ill-equipped when you get to the actual season that you should be at your fullest, at your potential. You'll be ill-equipped because you missed those seasons of preparation that were to apply to the building of whatever God was doing in your life. You know, I love that. Family, if you are listening tonight, we're listening to Dr. Eric L. Holmes, Dr. E, certified life coach and author, award winner. He's the walking Bible, okay? He is the walking word to me. I love it. I know he don't want me to say none of that, but I have to say that because it comes out even in his casual conversation. It's very rare that you see people that they're filled with so much of the knowledge and the wisdom of Jesus Christ that they even apply it as they naturally are just talking or speaking or sharing, and you can sense that spirit. And that is just so key for us. It's a living demonstration. It's a walking example. And so it's a warm spirit to be around. But listen, we're talking to Dr. Eric L. Holmes, and we're talking about some of the books and publications that he has and to come, and just the different things that he's been doing. Talk to us about what it feels like to have even some of your books. Now they're in the Enoch Pratt Library Compass in the
Yeah.
Writer's Lot. Explain that to those people that don't know or know where that is.
Actually, and I'm so glad, but let me just shift back for a few moments when you
Yeah.
talked about I worked in OBGYN, and so I know the process
Mm,
from the first beginning. I had to
at
schedule,
birth.
and I worked with surgeons even when they were doing terminations of pregnancy. But let me tell you, it is so vital and
Ooh,
important that you got the right people, the midwives, the right treatment, the right care from the weeks, from the months to when the baby is going to be, whether you got to make sure it don't be stillborn. It's so much. And when I learned so much in that, that's why it's so vital that what we're carrying
right.
is birthing season, as you said. And I don't
Yes.
want to miscarriage. I don't want to make sure that I
No.
abort my destiny. I don't want to
Jesus.
abort the purpose that he has. And so here
Right.
it is. That's why you got to have the right people in your circle. That's why
Oh
you
my
got to
God.
have the right people that's going to help you to birth what's in you. And so even with all of these books, I had people that were coaching me. One of the things why I'm even a better writer is because
Right.
in my second master's program and in my doctoral, that my first lady, Dr. Pender, was my professor, my instructor, just all around, just inspiration, encouragement. But guess what? She made me write a paper over, and I'll never forget it. We laugh
Ah,
about it now, but she made me write a 3,000 word paper over. She said, "You just talk like your pastor." I had to write it over, but guess what? And I just looked at it, I think probably last week, and I got an A on it. But it made me, when I'm writing and when I'm looking at my words, even when I do powerful public speaking, it taught me a whole valuable lesson. But
mm,
she challenged me and she made me write it over, and I got an A.
mm,
But now when I look at all of that, I've been writing, and so it helps me even in that. That's why you need the right people in your circle. That's why you need the right people that when you got vision and
mm.
they can see beyond you or see what
Yeah.
you don't see.
Mm, mm,
And
mm.
so
Oh my God.
even with these books, just like the thing about it is, Apostle, even with our book that's in pre-order right now, and I know I'm jumping ahead just for a
No,
minute.
you're fine.
I
No,
want to tie
come
this
on.
in.
Please.
Soulful affirmations. You gotta believe what you write.
Mm,
You gotta believe what you speak. I journal it, I write it, but then I put faith to it, and I put
right.
my faith into action, and then I do the work.
Right.
If I'm writing my affirmations down, and it's how powerful your words are, we got to
Right.
realize it's power in here. That's why when you open up and release, you got to be careful what you release in the atmosphere. You got to be careful
That's right.
what you speak. And so many people, I'm telling you, this is why so many people are, whether it's depressed, whatever, or they allow
Yeah.
distractions and all of that. I'm
Jesus.
telling you, something that distracted me could have distracted, but because I had an assignment for Saturday to do this radio interview, and I had other things, and just like when my money hit my account, a whole distraction came, because when I went there and the girl checked the car, she said that it said that I pulled money off out of my account. I didn't, but receipts. I was on the grand jury for 4 months. I know about
Wow.
proof, receipts, all of that. You come with the proof. But here, every email, I'm telling you, keep documentation, y'all. I promise you, email,
Right.
all of that. And so I sent that, but they were saying, so I had to go back, send them all this, write a letter to corporate. So all distraction. But I had to
Yeah.
focus on my assignment, because if I would have based it on this money, I could have missed
Right.
the assignment. That's why you can't be distracted in this season,
Right.
because somebody was dependent on the word that he gave me to
Mhm.
share with this whole air on here and release to somebody to encourage somebody.
Mhm.
But here comes a distraction, just
Right.
like the enemy. That's why you got to stay in prayer. That's why you got to stay in the word. That's why you got to fast and pray, because it'll keep you a step ahead of the enemy. I'm telling
That's
you,
it.
because the enemy's going to come, the blessing, the miracle, all of that you getting ready to come in. Oh, you can look for a distraction, but you just got
Right.
to know, you got to stay a step ahead.
That's
And
it.
that came, but I didn't allow that to
Yeah.
distract me.
Yeah. Right.
I went through the necessary stuff, then had to go back Saturday. I was like, well, listen, I got to do a radio interview. These people are in Arkansas, and I
Yeah.
shared that. And the young lady was so nice. I wrote a fierce letter to corporate. And she said,
Wow.
oh my God, the VP called me, emailed me today. But I said, this young lady, your employer has gone over and beyond. And then it's now they say, well, can you send it? So now let's post it on Google. And I said to her, oh, you're going to get a raise. You go over and beyond all the time. But
Speak it.
she said to the regional director, and this is before it went to the VP. She
Right.
said, but I trust him so that I would just put my paycheck, that I trust him. And see, that's integrity, character, and credibility. It
Yes.
might have been somebody else, and I'm talking about, this was not a couple dollars.
Yeah.
But she
Yeah.
trusted me, and she said that to him. She said, just give me the code. I trust him that much so we can release his money.
Wow.
And so this
Yeah.
is what I'm saying. The integrity, the character, the credibility. I could have been distracted. I
Right.
could have been distracted knowing that, okay, this money, y'all saying this stimulus going to hit and all that. But if I base that, that's what I tell people. Chase after God. Chase after
Yeah.
dreams and goals. Don't chase after money. Even as
Right.
a best-selling author, I tell
Yes.
people it will come. First of all, I seek ye
Mm.
first the kingdom. I'm a
And
tither.
his
I'm a
righteousness.
seeder.
Yeah.
I'm a sower. All he said, if you seek ye, all this other stuff's going to come. But when you
Yeah.
begin to chase after money and you don't chase God, you already set yourself up for failure.
That's it. That's it. And you know what? What you are saying, Dr. E, I mean, it is so, I mean, it is just food at the table, which makes me think about, this is why I say, when God is moving through you, somebody who's listening and watching in some way, whether God is moving through you to get something done or completed that you started and you stopped, you can't keep eating at everybody's table for a season. Just like when a woman is pregnant, there's certain environments she can't go to until after that baby has been delivered. There has to be a disciplined effect in your mind to say, while I get ready to birth this new vision, this new dream, this new business, this new book, whatever it is, I can't sit at everybody's table. I've just got to stay in this place and cultivate, prepare, develop, nourish what God has given me. So
Mm.
when it births healthy. It has longevity. It has purpose. It lasts. And so when we talk about eating at everybody's table, we're not saying, oh, don't eat at that table. Maybe some people are, maybe whatever. But we're saying that to keep yourself from being distracted, hindrances, wasting time, procrastination, some things you got to say, I ain't doing that for a while. I used to tell people all the time, just post and get off social media so you can get your stuff done and then get back on when you want to just chill out and have some free time. Or if you can handle and balance that and you still being productive and showing some fruit. But if you're not, then you're going to have to discipline yourself for a season, just like you're a pregnant woman in the natural. And so as we're talking about birthing and seeds and that circle, you have to be around, like you said, the right circle and the right people that know you're not around, but they still sending you texts. I love you. You doing okay? Keep at it. We got you. You got 3 more weeks or whatever it is. When people say, oh, thank you for helping me with this and that, and you still working on stuff, you still working on it. How much did they help? It's been 10 years. What you doing? you know. And so that is so important to me, just based off of what you're saying in terms of our circles, in terms of doing the work. That's part of doing the work. We want God to bless, but do the work. Just start it. You may not know how the process is going to go, but start it. And then the key, well, the last thing I said, and then I want you to take it back, is the affirmations that you talked about. And I'm excited to get your book that's coming out, Soulful Affirmations, because that's so key. And the reason why it's key also is because there are some times when God has called you to minister in places where maybe you don't know if they're going to understand what you're saying, or they may have a slightly different belief, or you have to be careful how you say it. There's a way to give an affirmation and still have an undertone of the word of God. When I had to speak in China last week, I could not speak the name like that. I could not talk about, oh, the Holy Spirit, whatever, because of the type of place it is. But I on purpose started saying, I am this, I am that, I am wonderful, I am fearfully made, I am great, I am victorious. Really, I'm saying God is victorious, God is great, God is wonderful. You know what I mean? So when you're talking about soulful affirmations, Dr. E, I love it, because y'all get the book when it comes out, because you're talking about period. It's across the board. It's a language that does set our atmosphere, and it has power.
It does have power. And just like I'm looking at mine, like you just said, I write it, but I believe it. I am healthy, I am wealthy. I believe it because the word said we can have what it is. And so I believe it. I'm speaking it. He said, if I decree a thing, so shall it be. So I'm decreeing it. But here's the thing. While I'm decreeing it, while I'm saying it, while I'm adding faith to this, while I'm putting in the work, while I got to believe it, I have to believe it. I've got to do this. I can't say I'm going to be debt free.
That's right.
I am debt free, and then I'm not managing and not being a good steward. You've got to follow the principles and the process.
Right. Come
He's
on.
given us the word. He's given us the blueprint. He's already laid it out, because I can't say I'm going to be a billionaire and I'm not doing nothing and being a good steward over my finances, and not just my finances, everything he's entrusted. That's why when we deal with the parable of the sower, listen, he had to follow everybody but one that didn't follow the rules.
Yeah.
And so here it is. I've got a part to play in this process. Now I got to trust him in the process, trust him to bring me through the process, and I got to trust the God of the process. But here it is. I got a part to play in the process. I've got to do something in it. We have a story, but if I never write it, nobody's going to hear it. And so we got a part to play. We've got, like I honestly, you got to do the work. Right. We don't want to do the work. We want to be wealthy. We want to be a million. But what are you doing to get there? So while I'm in transition, as I said to my team, I'll see you at the top billionaire status. But guess what? While I'm in transition, I'm doing the work in between. I'm making sure I get my fine. I'm making sure I'm a good steward over everything. And that's just more than just my finance, my home, everything, my car. I've got to take care and be a good steward over everything that he's entrusted to me, because we're just managers.
Right. That's it. That's it. We're just managers. I love it. Listen, I know we're kind of winding out of time. I cannot believe the time is already gone, because we have not gotten to everything that I want to talk to you about, which means that you have to come back. We'll schedule part 2. No question. We got to get you back. We got to push out this first broadcast, and then we're going to bring you back so we can keep going with some of the things I want to get to with you, so the folks can hold on to some things about you. A couple things, and then I want you to leave us with the nugget. And I talked about in Psalms 133 how there's a commanded blessing when people come together in unity. And we're talking about seeds and circles and just doing the work. We're talking about the publications that you have done and those that are on the way, and how we can't skip seasons and things of that nature. And it's like, we talk about it takes a village, and we talk about, supporting each other, and all these pieces of the puzzle somehow can come together. But what would you say? The word talks about in Psalms 133, commanding that blessing. Share with us how we follow you and get your books, all your platforms. And then if you can just give a word on that commanded blessing for us to walk in unity, that's where there's a commanded blessing and there's eternal life with that, as we begin to wrap up.
Yes, I'm on all of social media: Facebook, Eric Holmes; Twitter, Dr. E; IG, Dr. underscore E underscore Holmes. So you can reach me on all of those different platforms. Even if you go to Amazon to get one of my books, my bio is in there, my email is in there, so you can always contact me. And so all of the social media outlets, you can find me there. And the one thing I love about that scripture, it is about love and unity, and we could command the blessing because he said we could decree a thing and so shall it be. We open up our mouths and speak a thing, but here's the thing, it's by faith that I believe it. It's that
Mm.
I open up my mouth. He said if I abide in him and his word, I can ask what I want. If he says in John 16:23-20, whatever you ask in my name according to the
Yes.
will of the Father, he would do it. Here's the other thing, 24 said we have not because we ask not.
Yes, not.
I gotta open up my mouth in this season. I gotta decree and declare it, and I gotta open my mouth and speak it. I gotta believe it, and I gotta hold on to faith. And I'll tell anybody in this season, don't cast away your confidence. Hold to the word. It's a recompense, a reward that's coming. There's a reward in transition, but it's to
Yes.
the faithful. You gotta hold on, as my bishop said.
That's
You
right.
gotta hold on just long enough, because any day it's going to happen. And so
Any
you,
day.
as in Hebrews 10:23 said, hold to the profession of your faith without wavering.
Yes.
I'm telling you, it's your faith. It's the word.
Yeah.
You better hold on to it. It will uphold you in any season. It will sustain you in
Right.
any given situation. It
That's
is
right.
his word. And guess what? As I've been sharing that God gave me that word, and then my pastor turned around and preached it, I said, wow, if the promise is still good, there's no
That's right.
expiration date to what God promised. You got to hold on long enough. You got to hang on long enough that any day. In Ezekiel 12:25 said, listen, it's not going to be many days. It's getting ready to happen. You got to understand we are in one of the greatest seasons. Yeah, the
Yeah.
pandemic happened. Yeah, but guess what? It's a whole lot that he's showing us in it. But we are being blessed even in the midst of it
Yes.
all.
We are. Oh my God, we are. We are being blessed even in the midst of it all. Oh my God. Yes,
We
we
wouldn't
are.
even have did some things had this not happened.
Come on. That's it. Had it not happened.
I wasn't thinking about opening up an LLC and then writing another book and then co-authoring another book. And then here I'm in the process of writing my another book called How to
See?
Handle, listen, How to Handle Patience and Endurance. Wow.
See?
Like
See?
literally. But all
See?
of this is because of it, he shut down an
Yes.
entire world, shut us
Yes.
up, and then turned around and set us up to be blessed. Nobody but God
Yes.
can do it. And so you
That's
don't
it.
think in this whole season I'm going after everything that God has for me.
That's
Every
it.
promise that he declared, it's mine. He said it in his word. So if he
Yeah.
said it, why wouldn't I believe it?
That's it. And believe that it shall come to pass. It shall come to
I don't care
pass.
how long you've been waiting.
That's it.
As my bishop said, waiting still works. It may not be popular, but it
Yeah.
still works. It the script, wait on the Lord. It's going to
Mm,
happen, y'all. It's going to be worth it.
it
And I'm
is.
going to leave it with this word. 3 years ago, when I was in between positions and I was in between our East Campus and the other campus, here it is. And in the wilderness experience, he said, listen, don't compromise your promise and settle for less. It is
Wow.
worth the wait. I'm going to show you how to navigate through the wilderness to get to the promise. The promise is already waiting for me on the other side of the wilderness. I just got to go through it and get to the promise. It's
Oh my
already
God.
there. But here's the thing. I had to look at the wilderness from another perspective. I had to
Yes.
see it different and see it through the
Right.
eyes of faith. But it taught me so much in that. And so even in the midst of the transition, even in
Right.
the midst of the transformation, in the
That's
midst of that wilderness, yet he had a promise already waiting for me. And
right.
so I don't care what the wilderness or what you might find. You better hold on to what God has promised. I'm telling you, wait
Yes.
on God. It pays to wait on God. I'm telling you, it
Mm,
pays to wait on God.
mm,
I said this to the prayer band. This is a season called paid off, paid in full, stamped
come
approved,
on.
but it's to the faithful. You're going to have to endure to get it. You're going to have to
Right.
hold on long enough. And
That's right.
quitting is not an option. You got
Mm.
to let faith be your vehicle of transportation. You got to let trouble be the transportation of where you're going. And you got to
Wow.
understand this, that victory is your only option.
Victory is your only option. Come on, somebody. Y'all need to be typing in victory is my only option. That's it. That's it right there. That's triumphant right there. Victory is the only option. That's it right there. Because we serve a God that never gets defeated. He always wins. You know,
He
this
always
is the
wins.
place
That's
where
why it's our
victory
winning
repeats
season, our
itself.
cultivating our winning season.
That's it. Come on now. That's it right there. That's it. Let me tell you the model of this show. This is the place where victory repeats itself. And you just sealed the deal, Dr. E. You just sealed the deal. Glory to God. Y'all, if you all are not catching that, you need to sign up for some certified life coaching with Dr. E so he can talk to you one on one. Because that was a whole plate full, a banquet full of nuggets for us for this week. I'm telling you, this Monday night manna is designed and set up at the hour of 8 p.m. of new beginnings to prepare you to keep going for the rest of your week and to proclaim your victory. So if you have been privileged to hear Dr. E and to be in the sound of his voice and to be here on this platform where we know that the spirit of victory lives, then we believe that this week is going to be a victorious week for you. We believe that God is stirring up the gifting that's within you, that seed that's been waiting to be cultivated, to be nurtured, and that birthing to take place. We believe that you're going to open your mouth and that your voice is going to be heard because you are ready to push. This is the season, and we've just already heard the nuggets of what and why from Dr. E on tonight. I tell you, we got to bring you back for part 2 because we did not get to everything, but we got to enough where we can eat on until you come back again. Is that fair?
That's all right, Apostle. I'm humbled. I'm honored. You know, as my bishop says,
Yes.
somebody invites you back. One, thank you. But it's to God be the glory. But that's an
Mm. He's gone. That's okay because we got it all in. Y'all still there. I'm looking at my. Oh, there you are. Nope. Here we go. Here we go. See, that's why you coming back. That's why you coming back. Look, wait a minute. Thank you, Holy Spirit. That was a prophetic demonstration.
see
Somebody go grab that
ooh,
revelation on tonight. Ah, my God, we can go into another hour about what just happened. I know it looked in the natural, but there's a spiritual revelation that just came from your exit back to your interest. Come on, somebody needs to know that you're coming back. You're coming back in to all that God has for you. I know it looked like you exited everywhere, but God is saying, enter in, woman of God, enter in, man of God. The portal is open, the gates are open, and the doors are open. This is your season for victory, and you shall have everything that you put your mouth to that was in the will and the alignment of God. Even last year when you thought things were going awry and you had a little bit of delay, but you kept going, those were seeds in the ground. God is about to allow them to blossom and flourish in this new year. He just wants you to believe and have a victorious mindset and walk in that promised blessing. Oh my God. Oh my God. We're bringing you back, Dr. E, because we need some more of those demonstrations, those live demonstrations. Glory be to God. Listen, everybody. One final word. What's a final favorite word that you have for us as we close out the show on tonight?
endure.
Endure.
Endure. Don't worry about how
That's it.
fast you run, just endure. The whole key to it all is called endurance. Because if you can endure to the end, we already know there's a crown of life. So you got to endure this thing to get to where you're going. Just endure. No matter what the transition of the in between, endure.
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 That's it. That's it.
Endure. You
Endure.
gotta endure your process, your situation, your circumstance. I don't care what you gotta endure. I'm telling you, we quit too soon. We give
That's
up
it.
too soon. And then we're right there. It could be 3 seconds away, 30 seconds away, and we're right at the break. And then we give up. Endure.
Yeah.
It's worth it all. That's why the turtle crossed the finish line first. It wasn't how fast he was
Come
going.
on.
He just
Come
kept on
on.
going. He didn't get distracted that the rap and don't worry about who started out ahead of you. Don't get distracted who's faster. Because guess what? That rabbit was faster and he started out ahead. But guess what? That turtle stayed focused. He stayed in his lane and he crossed the finish line. Because you know why? He endured the race.
Come on now. Somebody grab that tonight. endure the race. You almost there. Listen, that we are out of time, y'all. That is all the time we have tonight for the Triumphant Show with Sherida Lovelace. Again, thank you to all the listeners and the viewers for listening on tonight. Thank you for those that are catching the replay on tonight. We thank you that those that are listening in the nations, in Nigeria, in Canada, in the UK, and beyond, God bless you tremendously. If you need to go back, rewind this show and listen to the powerful nuggets that we've heard from Dr. E. Listen to how to follow him on the social media platforms. Prepare to buy his books and the things that are to come. Please follow him, follow him, follow him. He's right on Facebook. Just follow him and you'll get all the information you need. Make sure you share this broadcast of fire on tonight so that you can receive what you need to endure and have victory the rest of this week. So God bless everybody. Listen, once again, to be a guest on the show, you can always send an email to us at SheridaLovelace@gmail.com. You can follow us on YouTube at SLovelace TV. Make sure you follow on Twitter as well at Sherida Lovelace, and definitely follow us on YouTube. Be a subscriber to us on YouTube. Those of you that are watching from YouTube or catch the replay, God bless you. All right, we're wrapping up tonight. Dr. E, thank you so much. We will bring you back again for part 2 because we did not even finish everything we wanted to talk about. Oh my God! Oh my God!
God'll always have you come back because somebody else needs to hear it. And so that's how God does what he does. He's so amazing, y'all. I'm telling you, this is our season. This is a critical season. I'm telling you.
Oh my God.
Hold and don't let go. I don't care what the enemy, you got to know that if God said it, just like in Numbers, when they tried to curse them, he said, oh, they are blessed and they cannot be cursed.
Yes.
It's an irreversible blessing. He spoke it. And so we cannot be, listen, y'all, hold to the word. And
hold to the word and endure. Woo, everyone, y'all need to be writing that down tonight before you go to sleep and allow it to be just in your heart for the rest of this week. God bless everybody for joining in on the show. Please replay, send the show, share it. Powerful. We will have Dr. E back, so make sure you are following both of us and liking and watching and following and joining us in this journey. God bless you. We'll see you back here, same time, same channel next week, and have a wonderful week. And make sure you dream again, and again. All right. See you soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.